This is what used to be the world's largest plasma screen, 103-inch plasma with a touchscreen bezel. This is Microsoft Connect running on an Xbox, and the Connect sensor you see is just under the screen here. The Connect sensor is a pretty amazing device. This sensor, the capabilities of this sensor, if you go back 5-10 years, you try to build this in a lab, this is going to cost thousands to build, possibly more. The Connect sensor has an array microphone in it, which will kind of track sound around the room. It has an infrared emitter, and what it's doing right now, we actually have a picture of this somewhere, but it's emitting just millions of little dots all over the room here. So if we took a picture of you, say with the night vision or the night scope, you would see all kinds of little dots of different shapes and sizes all over you. And what it does is it will then read back the infrared data on the camera in the Connect, and it can use that to create a depth map of this entire scene. So it can figure out how far things are, sort of what shapes they are, that kind of thing. It also has sort of standard webcam built into it. So you can do just standard video, or if you need to look at colors and scenes and things like that, we'll do that. And the Connect will do skeletal tracking. So it will, as soon as I step in front of the sensor, it starts to map out my body and where I am. And you see that it's tracking where my limbs are. So if I want to go into, I'm not even sure, let's go back here. And I'm going to go swipe over here. So you notice with just gestures, I'm getting to where I want to go. So go into arcade mode, and now I can become a ninja. So now I can start slicing up bits of fruit with just a wave of the hand. And I want to avoid those little bombs that come up. But with Connect, the idea is that you get an immersive experience, and we like to say you are the controller. Notice how there. I was going to say I avoided the bomb, but I hit that one just so you can see what the consequences were. Normally, I would never hit a bomb, of course. So this is the device wall. We have a lot of the latest and greatest devices from various manufacturers, ranging from things like netbooks and notebooks. This one I love. What I really love is when people pick that up, that look, and you have it just for an instant. This is one of the lightest machines that I've ever seen. I feel like if I had this in my backpack, it would just snap in half. But it's actually a really rugged machine to be so light, and it's fairly powerful too. But you know, little netbooks like that. This is one of the favorite laptops for our sales force. It's kind of slick looking. It's very thin, even thinner than one of our major competitors' notebooks. So it's a pretty nice, rugged machine.
Thinner than air.
Thinner than air, it is. Machines like this that really appeal to sort of the executive crowd. You can feel that. It has a sort of leatherish notebook kind of feel to it. So we want to showcase technology like that. Technology that's light and portable. Technology that's kind of a little bit upscale. Technology that's just plain fun. You get something like this one that has 2 screens, and you can bring up a web page now, and you can have sort of a huge view of that, or a spreadsheet or something like that. But then when you decide it's time to type, put your fingers down, and we're ready to type.
Oh, very nice. Are they both touchscreens, or just the bottom?
They're both touchscreens.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that available?
So
on the market?
Yeah, all of these are available, and they're on the market. In fact, I think this page may even be a little bit about. We'll go all the way to the top of the page. There it is. So Amazon, and there's the price. It's $10.59. And then machines like this Dell is sort of all-in-one. This one is about $7.99. Oh yes, this is kind of cool. It kind of tells you about each of the machines on the wall here. But I believe this one it's all-in-one DVD drive, touchscreen, multi-touch, about $7.99 from Dell with a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse. And I'm not selling it, but you get the idea.
It is running Windows 7.
It is running Windows 7. Yeah. And we'll save this for last. This is
Okay, let's go to the front one. Oh, I'm sorry, this
yeah, we'll show you some of this. I'll save that for
Okay.
last in the wall, then we go to the front. But some tablet devices. So small like this HP tablet. Kind of really nice little portable unit. If you don't need big screen, you just need a little consumption device for on the go. I always look at that as when I'm on my bike trips and I just want to take a little consumption device with me. This would be great for that. It does have pen input as well. And the nice thing about that, I'll actually show you the pen input on this one too. Nice thing about the ones that have pen and touch is that when you are using the pen, touch is disabled, so you're not accidentally sliding things around on the screen. So that's kind of a cool thing. But others like the Acer here, this is a different take on it, where the keyboard is something that's just sort of an optional thing. It works kind of like a little docking station, but it will also magnetically attach in case you need that. So having these things in the center, the whole goal of this is the customers come in and they can see what's available out there. What kind of devices are our partners offering? What are some options? And there are pros and cons to all of them. Some of them we get really attached to and really love, and others are just sort of they're great, but maybe not something that I would use on a daily basis. Something like this is really popular with our executive crowd. This is Asus, and the nice thing about this is I can come in here and I can just write directly on the tablet, and there's someone here wrote, now is the time, for example. And I can do searching. So now if I want to go and search, let's say I want to search for the word time, and I start typing that. Here, let me just move the keyboard out of the way. You see that it's highlighted the word time, even though it's in handwritten text. I didn't have to convert that to be able to search. Now I can still convert it if I'd like, but it's something that I don't have to do. And this is just standard OneNote. This is Office 2010 OneNote. So you can actually do this today, but so few people are doing handwriting because they haven't had this. Right. So they've only been using the keyboard. Well, now you've got machines that have the capability to do both. So it's really, really handy for that. And again, it's a tablet. Of course, that means you can do all the tablet-y kinds of things with it. Yep. And let's plug that back in so we keep the power. Try to plug it in the right slot. And then, of course, this is kind of a nifty, novel design. Say you're a student, throw this in your backpack, you can take notes while you're in class. Nice. Give you the keyboard so you can type fast. And then when you get back to your dorm room, flip this down, plug it into this JBL dock, which has speakers built into it, and now without pulling the battery out. And now you can listen to some music while you're in your dorm room, nice. Reviewing your notes. Then the last two things on the device wall that I'll show you, this is our Windows Embedded Automotive Developer Board.
Yeah, so just to be clear, everything else here was just running Windows 7. This is running something special.
Yes, this is Windows Embedded Automotive. So this is a build of Windows that runs embedded in a vehicle. And I'll just show you here. Let's actually just go ahead and boot it from start just so you can see. Now this is a developer board, so it's going to take a while to boot. In your car, the module would be essentially, first of all, the module will be a lot smaller. We've got a lot of extra stuff on here because it's a developer board. I can plug in external drives, I can plug in debugging ports, I've got GPS and CAN bus and all these things, but even still, so the boot time on here is pretty quick. Now it's going up and it's firing up various tasks. So the code is written to run this little thing. Now we're going to run a little console down here. We're going to run two other kind of high performance videos. This one's using OpenGL, and then this one down here is just a little demo of maybe some cover flow art, so maybe for something like a touch screen in a car where you're picking music with album covers or something like that. But the idea is this is a full-blown Windows operating system designed to be embedded and to do essentially just the task that it's programmed for, not to be a general purpose install whatever you want kind of operating system. And then the last of our fun devices, and this one's going to actually make a little noise. So so folks from the last video that I did with Technology and Friends might remember this. This is the .NET Micro Framework in action. So the .NET Micro framework is .NET embedded into a chip, essentially. It's not Windows, it is just .NET. Now the great thing about it is that it's actually fully open source. Apache license, open source, you can grab it, you can change it, you can do what you want with it. There are no licensing fees for using it. But it is .NET on a chip or on a microcontroller. In this case, one of our partners, Renaissance, has built a smart meter here for us with the micro framework and embedded a microcontroller into a washing machine. The idea is that if I plug in appliances, the appliances are now smart. So we replace the microcontroller that would normally be here with a smart microcontroller that maybe even gives characteristics about the device. So now when I plug in my washing machine and I plug in my dishwasher, I plug in my electric car, each of those devices can tell the system, tell the house, hey, this is how much I need to be able to run. This is how much power I need. I need to be charged by 6 a.m. because that's when I leave for work. I need the dishes to be done by a certain time. Doesn't matter when you run as long as they're done by this time. But the meter can then take into account what your requirements are, what kind of load is on the grid, what are the costs if you're in a variable rate market, and make intelligent decisions about when to run things. So right now the meter says, hey, you're in a critical situation, don't run. If I come in here and put the meter into surplus, then it's free to go ahead and start up the washing machine and make a lot of noise on the video. I'll turn the washing.
This is perfect because my socks are just filthy.
Yeah, and this is
just enough room, I think, for one sock.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you might be able to get two in there if you cram them. But, yeah, we can do one at a time. That's no problem. It's a fast cycle. That backing critical, just in case. So that's our device wall. That's
very cool.
Where we kind of start, and we'll show you some other cool devices later. But this is the envisioning center, and I kind of, I say Disneyland, and hopefully, they won't sue me for using their trademark, but it is just dreamland, why don't we call it that. It is really an amazing place. So this, it looks like a soundstage. It looks and feels like, if you look in the back, for example, you see the sound baffling and things like that. Nice little executive seats. You can see the stage, the lighting. This is actually designed by people who do Hollywood sets. The lighting was done by a Hollywood lighting crew. In fact, we're sort of in the walk-in lighting now. We can actually switch over. I'll switch over and show you some things as we go here. But we can go into our introductory lighting, and you notice it gets a lot brighter out here. But what we have in the room is the ability, we talked about that Southbridge Video and Electronics, that kind of fictitious company. We can show a day in the life of workers at that company. So we'll start, for example, with an executive going into an office, and this exec working in a traditional office environment, showing on the screens here. So you'll see the large screen in the middle, and then 2 screens over there, 2 screens here. This will show what that exec is doing and working on. And we actually start with the exec coming into the office using a mobile device in the car. We sort of simulate that, but using voice commands to be able to listen to emails, transcribed voicemails, or even the voicemails themselves, being able to respond to those things, being able to check her calendar and say, oh, I'm going to be late for this meeting, all without taking her hands off the student. So very, very cool stuff. We kind of simulate it in here because we don't have a car in here, but you get the idea. And then we go through productivity in various things like Outlook and SharePoint and whatnot. But the exec can interact with someone who is in a home office. And so that home office might be in a different city, it might be in a different country. Home office could be pretty much anywhere. And we show interaction between the two. We show collaboration where they're both working together and maybe making a video call, sharing documents, all of those types of things that are possible. And we also have what we call sort of mobile vignette here, the mobile environment. This might be a coffee shop, airport, One of those types of things. Must be a coffee shop. There's a coffee cup right next to the MacBook.
Well, they'd like to take those out of Starbucks. You know that.
Yeah, actually, if you go pick that one up, it's ceramic. It's not even a coffee cup. But showing that environment, and then the last of our vignettes is what we call the vertical vignette. And this one, and you notice the big screen back here. This is really cool because when we have different companies in from different industries, we can make that screen, that backdrop anything. So we've actually had, so this has been sort of in a hospital, nurses station or
kiosk,
whatever, and you'll see, the kind of people in the background wearing scrubs and masks or whatever. We've had, sort of plant floor pictures back there, or if a company makes, say, parts for cars, we'll have car parts on there. So, kind of really make it work. And then the devices that we put here too. For example, this is a medical grade tablet. So if I pull that out, this is a tablet that you can take around the hospital, do pen input with the tablet, and maybe if something gets spilled on it, it's no big deal. You can wash it down with alcohol, and it's good to go. So being able to put devices like that in here is kind of cool. Automotive devices or whatever else you want.
Right.
So that's kind of the 4 vignettes, but we customize it. We can make these vignettes into really anything that we want that fits the scenario.
So you got a script for each one of these vignettes that you can customize to the.
We do, and they all work together. But we can customize each individual. We can customize the overall so that they're flowing together and collaborating. We do quite a lot in here.
This looks a lot like a TV studio. Do you have cameras in here?
There are not cameras in here. We actually, when we built the center, we talked about doing that. We decided that a lot of what we do in here with customers, customer questions come up, things come up that we may not really want to have on camera. So we didn't put cameras in. We do have the capability to bring in cameras. So if we want to film something in here, which we've done that several times, we can bring in cameras, but we decided that having permanently mounted cameras might not be such a great thing.
How does this MTC compare to the other MTCs around the country?
So this is one of the newer MTCs. The Chicago MTC is actually on the same floor as their customer floor, so they've got a lot more floor space. So we're a little bit smaller in that sense, but one of the first of the sort of next gen modern MTCs, and there are a couple of others that are being built out with us. So I think we're pretty much on the leading edge of MTCs.
Okay.
And of course, we have the best technical director.
That's Dave. Very cool. Stacy, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
It's really educational.
It's
a lot of fun.
It's been great. And at the MTC, this is like I said, this is not just for Microsoft. This is a customer location. We want our customers to come in, use the facilities. We want it's open arms here for.
So that brings up a point. What's the if a customer wants to access to this? Are they going to call 1-800-MTCC, or how do they go?
Typically, they go through their account teams. So we have account teams assigned to each customer, and they'll go through the account team and talk about this is what we need, and the account teams say, yeah, we can bring you into the MTC and do this. Now we actually have customers, once they've been here, go back and just call the account team and say, we want to go to the MTC for XYZ. So we have that happen as well. And we've even had people who've heard of the MTC, haven't been here yet, but kind of have heard word of mouth through their friends, and said, hey, we've heard about that MTC. They call the account team and say, we want to go there. We just want to, we're not even sure we're going to be yet, but we want to go.
That's how I got it.
Yeah, it's a fun place.
So a lot of people they're not necessarily asking for the MTC itself. They have a problem to solve. And it's up to the account team to recognize that this is something that could be resolved by getting you in a room.
Yes.
And talking about it, and maybe do a proof of concept.
Absolutely.
Maybe see sample app and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. And once people have been here and they kind of know, that's when you get those requests from people saying, yeah, we were successful last time we were at the MTC. Let's do that again because that really helped. Especially that thing that I described, the mutual discovery process. A lot of times people hear about that and they say, well, we kind of know our business problem. We don't want to go through that. Let's not do that part. And we say, okay, let's just do a little bit of that. I've actually had a customer who came in not wanting to do that at all. We said, let's just do a little bit of it so we get grounded in what your business problem is. And about 4 hours later, the customer said, we're still doing mutual discovery. The customer said, you know, we could do this all day. This is one of the most valuable things that you've done.
Absolutely.
And none of it was talking about Microsoft technology. Just talking to the
Oh,
business was their business problem.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what we do.
Stacy, thanks a lot.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been fun. Tell your friends about the Microsoft Technology Center.